Hey everyone, and welcome to the Week 1 review, Week 2 preview of the League Manager's Note. I apologize for my hiccups. I've had a little bit of wine tonight, so I'm gonna do my best to plug through these without too many hiccups. No guarantees though. I'm joined by Joel Gibson. He's over there. He's right there. Hi, Joel Gibson. All right, well, we'll just get right into it, not beating around the bush. We'll start off with the champs matchup, as always. I beat CJ 8-3. It was very close throughout the week. DeJounte Murray got that triple-double yesterday for me, which basically sealed the deal. And today, Davis sat for CJ, so I won. I moved to 12-2 all time against CJ. And I'd also like to point out that I have not lost within a calendar year. The last time I lost in this league was to Simmons last Christmas. So I'm very excited to get a full year. I think you might have done this once or twice, Joel Gibson, but it hasn't been done a lot, that's for sure.
Only the greats have ever met such a status.
Yeah,
I think I did it twice, but this would be, I think, only the third time in league history.
All right, well, I'll take it. Also multi-champ, so that basically lines up. I'm not surprised that that's happened to you. You've had quite a few championships. I have my trophy here currently, and I'm just sending a message throughout the league. Did move an early pick earlier before the week started. Just some side notes. CJ was without Wall this week, so I will give him credit where it's due. He was down one of his major players. But I'll take the win. I'll definitely take the win.
You were down one of your point guards as well, Killian Hayes, and that's mostly because did you trade him or drop him?
I traded him,
and then he got dropped.
Exactly. Yes, I traded him. I kept D-Lon.
Well.
I kept D-Lon, and I moved on.
Here's what I will say, as a little side note, is as someone who had Davis for somewhere between 2 to 6 weeks, this is part of the reason that I moved on from him. Is I was afraid that he would just dick me one of these Sundays where I really needed him to play, and he would just, fuck it.
Exactly. So, that's been my thing on Davis for years, and it's well documented. So I feel very good about just pointing it out that it strikes again in this situation. But outside of that, I think CJ's going to be a playoff team, so he's nothing to mess with. He hung with me. So shout out to CJ for a good matchup, but sometimes the stats just aren't in your favor. Next one is going to be probably the upset of the week. It's Matt beating Simmons. 5-4-2 is the current score. Now, these might change, but we went through and we said basically the matches were over based on the scores. So if we are off by half a category or something like that, just note. Matt coming up big against Simmons. Simmons isn't necessarily even playing bad. If he was playing anybody else other than Matt, I think that he would have won. If not, he might have lost one or two of those matchups. But at least 75% of the league he beats this week. So shout out to Matt for getting that early win. Matt's a former champ, so we'll see what he has in the tank this year. I basically traded him my whole championship team from last year, so he's going to contend.
Yeah. Some notes on Simmons. Obviously, JJJ still out. Embiid sat a rando game tonight. That sucks. And LaMelo Ball has been really disappointing. Simmons, as someone who should win this year, little bit high on his cap to start the season. He had to go under, right? Or he went over because he picked someone up off waivers.
Yeah, he was right at 200. He couldn't add, had to play a man down. Finally figured it out with dropping White, who you picked up, which I thought was a good pickup for you. Simmons now at least has a couple dollars where he can rotate through and cycle. So I thought that was a big move by Simmons. Outside of that, Matt's team really did well this week. And they both had the most double-doubles in the league as well. So, like I said, it's not like Simmons is going to take a huge hit in how I power rank him. I do have my power rankings that we'll get to. But shout out to Matt for starting out 1-0 and upsetting the clear-cut front runner for this year. Next matchup is going to be your matchup, Joel, against Cody. I thought Cody might have upset you, but you pull it out at the end here. It's 8-3 currently. Cody is just a bunch of misfit toys tied together. He's clearly focused on next year. This will give you a sizable lead in the Cody matchup, 7-4, even if you count the championship from last year. So, anything you want to say about your matchup?
Jason Tatum, which I got a Jason Tatum jersey for Christmas this year, courtesy of my mother-in-law. But Jason Tatum looks great, fucking killed it. I'm really happy to have him as a keeper. Sabo is out there fucking throwing triple doubles. He's, the closest thing you can get to Jokic when you give him up, except you don't get the threes or maybe, I still got him at $1, so it's pretty great. I think that this matchup would not have been as close if this wasn't such a weird week. The season started on Tuesday, if I remember.
Yep.
Plus, there's one with Christmas Eve, no game. So it was a short week where the stats didn't really balance out.
Yep.
I'm really glad that Cody didn't sneak this one from me, but I was thinking back about that 1 year. Do you remember when there was the stat correction year?
Yeah.
And Cody had won? There's a correction to take it back, and I won?
Yes. Good times.
Memories.
Good times.
Great times. Great times. I don't really have anywhere else to go with that. I just wanted to bring that back up.
All right, well,
we can move on.
For the data, if you will. For the data. Next one is Kyle routing Eric. This was no surprise, really. Kyle's team is absolutely loaded. And man, when he starts putting up numbers, he's going to put up numbers. He had 63s this week on 4 games played. That's 15 a day. That's well done. Outside
Durant
of that,
looks monstrous.
Absolutely. Everybody who had a triple-double, I believe, actually won this week, as an interesting little side note. Kyle had 2 of them here. Westbrook looks good in Washington. Not going to get you a ton of points, but he will get those low-end triple-doubles quite a bit from what I'm seeing.
Bludgeon that field goal percentage.
Oh, he will kill the field goal percentage for sure. Eric is clearly the bottom of the West, in my opinion. So congratulations to Kyle for winning this first week. Next one is a little bit of an upset, too, if you think about it. Stephen Thornhill loses to Neiman. Now, Neiman also had a triple-double. Steven was without Harden for the first game. I don't know that it would have made too much of a difference. Neiman's team is really good as long as LeBron can stay healthy. Joker is looking very thin. He is not the normal early Joker that we're used to seeing. So, like I said earlier this week in the Messenger, I think that Neiman is no longer a bubble team. I think he is firmly in the playoffs this year, and he's a force to be reckoned with for sure.
It's unfortunate, but it's true.
Yep. The last matchup we have is Adam upsetting Doug a little bit, in my opinion, here. This was really close. This was separated between 3 steals, and because Adam was the home team, technically 1 double-double. Big win for Adam. I like to see Adam competing, especially early in the season. He hasn't had a ton of success in the past, but I'd love to see him make the playoffs and really make some noise this year. I think Doug will be okay. His biggest regret is definitely Ja Morant and not keeping Ja, and then trading away Beal, who he kept over Ja, for Kyrie. So that's an interesting little thing to see as we move forward. Outside of that, congratulations to Adam for winning.
Kyrie looked incredible. If I were him, I would not regret picking up Kyrie. The jaw thing is obviously a bummer for him. But really, I like seeing Adam win here because I think Doug is going to be competitive. And losing one of the games that he should have won could play big down the line with seeding.
I agree. With that said, I'll get into my power rankings after week 1. We'll start at the bottom and we'll work our way to the top. Eric is the bottom, clear bottom for me. I think Cody would have beat him even if...
No surprises there.
No surprises there. Maybe Eric will dive into some research for next season. We'll see how it goes. But Cody is next at number 11. He's tanking for me, so I'm not going to give him a ton of credit until he starts racking up wins. Next is CJ. It's tough for me to keep CJ this low, but I do have reasons for having my the other guys above. I think CJ's still going to get into the playoffs. It's just unfortunate that he had to play the commish, the champ, the buzzsaw. It happens to the best of them, CJ. Next one is going to be Steven Thornhill. I moved him down this far at 9 only because he's 0-1. That is the only reason why I did so. He has Harden back. He will likely move up those ranks pretty quickly. But because he lost his first week, I put him down at 9. I have Doug at 8. He lost a very close matchup to Adam. So it was very close for him having one win. That's the only reason why I put him above Steven. Next one is Adam. Adam beat Doug, obviously, so he is one rank above him. Next one's Neiman. I really liked what I saw from Neiman, and I think he is number 6 now. Like I said, I think he's no longer a bubble team. Next one, number 5, is me. There's some holes in my team that I'm still trying to work out. I still have Kemba on the IR, so these first couple weeks might be a little slippery for me, but I hope Kyrie comes back, or Kemba comes back, and I hope that he does well. Next is Simmons. I had Simmons as the clear outright at the start of the season. He lost to Matt, so I obviously moved him down, but he doesn't slide too far based on him beating most opponents this week. Next one is Joel. Joel, you were close with Cody, but you did end up winning, so I put you in the 3 slot. Next one is Matt. Matt beat Simmons this week and would have beat you. So I have him in the 2 spot. And number 1 until he loses is going to be Kyle. Really good pickup on Westbrook there. He has a ton of players that are going to get him a lot of stats. It's going to be tough to beat him week to week. It really isn't going to matter. Yeah, Westbrook didn't play today, but he still killed Eric. Like, it doesn't matter even if you have a back-to-back. You're going to have a good week to beat him. Any of those you disagree with or any notes?
Interesting. I have some notes on Matt and I at the 2-3 spot, but I think I'm going to save them for when we get into the matchups for this coming week because you guessed it.
I know. I love it. I love it. That's why I'm really excited. I was looking at the matchups for next week, and I'm really excited to see you two play each other so quickly. How the schedules worked out, which was kind of crazy. After the schedules went in and all the actual NBA schedules came out, they reset our league, and it's only 14 weeks now. So you only play 4 teams from the other conference. I actually don't play you or Matt. That is how it was randomized. I didn't pick that. I'm not excited. I would have rather played you over Simmons. So it didn't really work out as far as that goes. So it's not like I'm stacking the deck or anything. I randomized those 4 intra-conference plays. But that's something interesting. We might not see each other till the playoffs this year, which is another little added wrinkle. Good?
Do you want to get into these matchups for next week?
Yep, let's get into it. We'll start with the champs matchup as always. It's going to be Eric at Modest. I'm home team, and it's against Eric. I'm going to go ahead and pick myself for this week. Just add another week onto that 52 straight weeks of winning. We'll be at 53 weeks at the end of this week.
You're a real prick fuck. But I also am going to pick you. Eric is, as we said, the bottom in life and in the league. But right now, you're the reigning champ. So I am going to pick you. This is probably the easiest matchup of the week. It's a cakewalk, in my opinion.
All right. Well, let's hope it's that way. I'm really hoping for it. It was way too close between CJ and I. Next matchup is going to be Simmons at Doug. This is really interesting to me too. Doug has shown that he's able to put up numbers. I just don't know if it's going to be enough against Simmons. I'm going to take Simmons here, but I'm rooting for Doug.
Doug, if I recall, with his first pick, picked up Porzingis.
Yes.
Who's out for a while. Had he gone with, someone who is playing right now and available at that range, I might feel more confident in taking him against Simmons, who is a little bit beat up right now. But I'm going to pick Simmons as well. It's interesting because that's going to put Doug at an 0-2 start, and I do like him as like a top 5 team, I think.
I agree. It's really tough for me to keep picking against Doug, but last year we got on a good streak where I was picking against Doug and he started winning the games I was picking against him. So we'll see if we can do that again this year. Next matchup is going to be your matchup. You're the home team against Matt. This is a huge measuring stick, not only for the league, but for the East specifically. Goodness, I have no idea about Dre, so I'm going to pick Matt here. It's a really tough call for me, but if you don't have Dre and they keep listing him as day-to-day, I think Matt's just going to be in games played. So I'm going to go with Matt, but if you end up winning because Dre comes back, I would understand that.
For you.
Okay.
Draymond has officially been listed as out. So he is now officially on the IR.
Excellent.
Which means I can either go pick up one of several people I have just been salivating at, or I can use that as a cycle spot. And I think that spells bad news for Mr. Matt Hobert. I was looking at the matchup, and games aren't finished yet, but I thought this was interesting. He would have beat me 6-5, and it was very, very close.
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned before, there was 2 games worth of no games played this week. I do think if things balanced out that I could beat Matt, and I think I am going to beat Matt. So that's where I'm putting it.
All right. I do like your bottom more than Matt's bottom. I'll say that.
And it's been working at that for years, man.
So if you're able to put Dre on the IR, that's definitely an advantage for you. I'm gonna stick with Matt, but you being the home team, like I said, things are set up where you can definitely win this matchup. It's going to be very close. Next one is going to be Adam at Cody. For me, this one's pretty clear cut. I think Adam's going to continue to roll over Cody here. Cody's not going to be an easy out by any means, but there are some holes, I think, in Cody's team. And I think that if Adam's paying attention, he'll be able to take advantage of that. And he just beat Doug, so I'm rolling with Adam.
Too. I think Cody, even though he was competitive with me this week, he made some trades. It was a weird week. I think Adam will win this matchup with ease. Kat is also out for what sounds like at least the week.
Yeah, that's really. That's
really.
Sounds
like he's going to be checked on weekly.
Yeah, I know, and that's really unfortunate. I just hope that Kat can get this figured out. He was traditionally an Iron Man who was not missing games at all. And since you kind of traded him away, he seems to be missing games a lot more frequently. So that's just something to keep an eye on, not only for this season, but next season as well. I'll try to include that as I know Cody's building for next year anyway. But yeah, I think Adam's going to win as well. Next matchup, sneeze. Next matchup is going to be CJ at Steven. This is another, I actually like this week a lot. We're going to learn a ton about who's where this week. CJ is away at Steven Thornhill. Steven is going to have a full week of James Harden. CJ, he can put the numbers up there, but the issue, and I think the biggest thing is going to be 3-pointers this week. CJ and I were both very small on 3-pointers. I managed to just edge him out as far as league-wide. However, I think Steven's going to have a ton more with Harden this week, and that's going to lead to more points. So I'm going to go with Steven here. He's the home team as well. I don't really see anybody on CJ's roster that's going to throw that triple-double to give him that advantage as the away team. So I'm going to go with Steven.
Looking at CJ's team this week was a little bit alarming for him. His best player, Davis, obviously sitting. Carmelo Anthony is day-to-day. How willing are you to drop him? Blake Griffin looks good, but then he's got to sit the next game. John Wall doesn't play. Larry Nance Jr. had one really good game, and then CJ picked him up, and he went back to just a normal-ass fucking waiver guy.
K-Love came back.
Yep. Kelly Oubre looked really bad this week. Hassan Whiteside looked really bad this week. There's just some question mark. There's a lot of question marks, unfortunately, for Siege. So I got to pick the other way, unfortunately, this week. I hope it works out for CJ going forward.
But this week it's Steven. The last matchup is, and again, I hate to sound like a broken record, another compelling matchup. Kyle away at Neiman. So Neiman is going to be able to keep up with Kyle in those triple-doubles. It's going to be very interesting to me if Neiman's going to be able to put it up in other categories that are going to make this a compelling matchup. I'm definitely picking Kyle. He just has so much firepower that it's hard to pick against him at all. I have him number 1 in my rankings. And right now I would pick him against myself. So I am going to pick Kyle. Neiman, if you pull this off, immediately a top 4 team, no doubt.
Neiman's team, if Eric Gordon plays, that's a big deal for him. And if he doesn't, if Neiman's willing to cycle that spot, matters a whole hell of a lot. CJ McCollum, Colin Sexton, they had huge weeks. Chris Middleton was really good this week. What's his name? The center for Atlanta, Capella. I would imagine he'll be on a minutes restriction, so that should spell a lot of minutes for John Collins. I really like Neiman's team. I'm going to spite pick Neiman. Fuck you, Kyle.
When you say
I
up
think
yours,
is good.
shouldn't your line be...
Kyle.
Shouldn't your line be up yours, Kyle? Like, that's your name.
Kyle. Yeah, I'm going to pick the other way.
All right. Well, that's really it. I mean, I think everybody's been doing okay with the cap. Everybody kind of knows what's going on. Stephen Thornhill and I shared an interesting text message exchange this week where one of his responses was, wait, basketball starts this week? So I'm not sure how much time Steven's really been paying attention to the league. But I just wanted to share that little side note. I love you, Steven, but that was so funny to me.
There it is.
All right.
And I wondered how things would go 1 year removed from the Homestead house.
I know. 1 year removed from the Homestead house. We're not over there at obscene hours during the night shooting videos, so everybody knows what's going on. But I'm just glad the season started again. I love waking up and getting to read the reports in the morning, just everything. Just great to be back. Anything else from you, Joel Gibson?
Well, Matt, I hope you're ready to get fucking properly dicked this week. That's about it.
Excellent. And Eric, get ready to run into that buzzsaw that people keep talking about. It's a real thing at this point. I'm just saying it's a real thing. That's really it. If anybody has any questions, let me know. I'll post an updated list tomorrow. Outside of that, I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas and has a Happy New Year. New Year's is Friday, I believe. So there's going to be a couple days before we do another note. Outside of that, we will see you guys next week. That's it.